That is one fantastic song, Namadinga with Mapulani. Good evening, Zambia. Good evening, Lusaka. Actually, a special shout out to Malawi. Seeing as we've been listening to Namadinga, welcome to this presentation of TV Bakwetu, and I'm your host, Linda Banks. Actually, this is a different segment from the usual Bakwetu. This is the Linda Banks segment, and we are looking at something a little bit different from politics. We're staying away from politics tonight. And in my presence, I have been joined by this incredible young talent, and her name is Helen Zulu. Helen, welcome to TV Bakwetu.
Hi, thank you so much.
Finally, we get to have this conversation. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you? It's been dragging.
It has been dragging. Well, there's a reason why it's been dragging. You have just had something in your oven. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And you look this amazing. How old is the baby now?
5 weeks today.
5 weeks. Oh my God, girl, what are you doing? You look awesome.
Really? Thank you. Thank
5 weeks
you.
after popping out, be looking like I've just been dragged out of something. Oh my gosh.
It's
What
been
baby
five
did?
weeks.
Oh,
It's a
amazing.
girl.
It's a girl. What did you call her?
Yeah. Rena Taonga Phiri.
Oh, that's lovely. So you, which one is your maiden name? You use Zulu and Piri interchangeably, which can be a little bit confusing.
Yeah, I know. Zulu, my father's. Phiri is for my husband.
Oh, I see. I see. But you use both of them, like you have a double barrel. Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Well, it's great that we have finally managed to sit down for this conversation.
Mhm.
And I was talking to a few friends, and they were like, "Oh, so you're getting candid with Helen?" And I was like, "Actually, yeah, yeah."
But on the other side, Helen is just on
Exactly.
the other
On the
side.
other, absolutely. How does it feel being on the other side of the conversation?
I think it feels good. I know at first I would want to start being the one to ask you questions,
Don't
but
you do
now
that?
I'm
Stop asking.
and I do enjoy it. So
Yeah,
yeah, it feels good to be on the other side.
yeah,
Yeah,
fantastic. So
sometimes
you
scary.
scary. Well, don't be scary. Bakwetu is a very friendly place, and we are
Okay.
friends, so nothing scary about that at all. Except that you've got perhaps a different audience because we've got a specific kind of viewership from diaspora and a particular viewership from Zambia. Perhaps not people who normally would watch um, Getting Candid, the entertainment
Yeah.
section of your show. So let's get started. I want to know more about you. Well, I know quite a bit about you, but I think our audience would like to know more about you. So, who is Helen? How did you get into media? Are you a trained journalist, or you just stumbled upon presenting? How did it all begin?
Okay, so I always loved media, I always loved entertainment. And growing up, sometimes I would, where you're thinking, you just find yourself doing things, not really planning to say in future, I want to do this. In class, sometimes I would be excited, like pretend I'm interviewing somebody just for fun. But I would
Yeah,
eventually, when you start getting to grade eight, you start thinking, I want to be this, I want to be this. And I think the only thing that would come to my mind was, I want to be a journalist, I want to be a journalist. And at some point I was told, no, your sister, I have a sister who studied journalism, but she's not practicing. So I remember my brother saying, I think it's better you study something else. You're a good debater. How about maybe you do something like law? So I started changing in my mind. I said, I'm going to be a lawyer. But when I finished high school, I was finding myself doing things that were drawing me just towards media. Towards media. I first found myself acting, and I enjoyed it very much. That was like just trying it
acting.
out. But yeah, I tried that. But
What
then
sort of
it did,
roles
it
did
did.
you get then?
Schoolgirl. Even when I was out of high school,
Oh,
because yeah, I was like a schoolgirl
yeah,
kind of roles, but that wasn't a very successful road for me. But then that's the time I decided to say, look, I love entertainment, and I'm thinking I'm going to be a successful actress, so I can't study law because it will limit me. So that's when
yeah.
I just thought, my people at home said, look, I'm going back to studying journalism. This is what I love, and this is what I'm going to study. And I found myself doing some voluntary work at
Mhm.
ZNBC with Innocent Kalaluka. And
Fantastic.
then I decided to go and study. I'm a trained journalist. I went to study Trijwe under University of Zambia. So I studied
Fantastic.
journalism, and that was it. Yeah.
Brilliant. And your first job was at ZNBC.
Yeah.
Mm.
I literally worked like, oh, like my whole journalism career is right there.
Yeah.
Because I did voluntary, went to school. I was going to school and still doing voluntary work with helping Flow manage Smooth Talk, and
Mhm.
I became his field presenter for the show. So I would go to school and still do the work. I went to do my internship right there in the newsroom. So I did news, and they kept me even when my internship was done. They kept me for like almost a whole year,
Mhm.
and gave me a desk to run with, and so it was just a great experience.
Fantastic. And ZNBC for every budding journalist, that's the place where everyone wants to go. I remember I was trained by Mr. Faxon Nkando, among as many other incredible
Yeah.
lecturers. Did you pass through his hands?
No, 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 no,
No,
I didn't.
Maureen Nkandu's dad. And I remember he said, no, you don't want to go to ZNBC. And I didn't know exactly why he didn't want me specifically to go to ZNBC. But everyone else, as a budding journalist, the first place that you think of is, I want to work for ZNBC.
Yeah.
So if there's someone who's looking to get into media, do you think that's the right path? Or now things are a little bit different?
Okay, now there's a lot of TV stations, there's a lot of radio stations. So the advantage that the journalists that have been trained now, they have enough options to choose from.
Mm,
So I think what ZNBC will offer, the private media will not offer. But for me, I don't regret going through that path, because I don't think I'd have been able to stand on my own if I didn't go through the path.
mm,
It's a bit tough, especially that I did my internship in the newsroom, even though I had already started doing entertainment stuff. But
mm.
I went through the newsroom. It was tough, but I think it was worth it.
Mm,
I know
the pressure of producing a news story all the time.
and more than one. It was just a
Yeah.
lot, and you had to get. But the longer you stay there, I think it becomes easier,
Mm,
because it's like news just follows you, and your nose for news grows really. So
absolutely.
I enjoyed my stay. I don't know about it. Depends on the reasons why somebody would discourage you for not to for you not to be at ZNBC. But for me, it's not something that I would discourage somebody. If you have to go through it, go through it. And it at the end of the day, you'll see what you want. I
Yeah.
went there, I did everything. They employed me. I knew
Mhm.
when it was time for me to walk away, when I was like, okay, I think I've gotten enough of
Yeah.
what I came for here, and this is it. I've reached the ceiling.
Yeah. But the funny
Yeah.
thing is, despite being discouraged at the time, our paths did cross anyway, because
Yeah.
during the time that we trained, you couldn't escape ZNBC. You'd be covering a story in the middle of the Luangwa, it's sort of some remote area in the some remote part of Zambia. You'd
Yeah.
still have to go through ZNBC either to deliver that piece of news or to broadcast. There weren't many TV stations like there are now. But so you left ZNBC. There was an interesting story, a bit of a background.
Okay.
You kind of just not accepting the contract that was offered to you to be renewed. What was that about?
Where
Why
did
did
you get that?
well, I have my sources.
I'm trying to think, because I don't think I remember mentioning that in any interview.
I have my sources. So
Okay.
what
Yeah.
happened? They offer you a chance to renew your contract, and you turned your nose on it, and you're like, no thanks. What was that about?
Yeah, I think, sometimes it's you want to grow to a certain level,
Hmm.
and the place where you've been at, where it's been like your comfort zone, that's your home, it's not giving you that. And so you just decide. I think that's where I was thinking, look, I had time, because I think at that point I made my decision, even like before the contract. Obviously, I was thinking, if the contract gives me something better than what maybe I'll be tempted.
Yeah.
I was going through something. With my first child, I had complications with my pregnancy. So I stayed in hospital for like 3 weeks before she was born. So that time I was just thinking about my career and seeing how other people are growing, they're developing their lives. And I felt like I was just stagnant. And I'm thinking, okay, I think I've done everything that I can for ZNBC, for myself. What I can gain from ZNBC, I think I've gotten it. And I think it's time for me to walk away. So in the moment I just saw the contract, I was like, oh, okay. I
Same
think
old,
the
same
contract,
old.
yeah, so the contract is saying that I should walk away. So that was it. I was like, I think it's time to walk away. And that's how I didn't sign the contract.
Very diplomatically put. I'm gonna push you slightly on that one. So, what memories do you take away from? Are they all positive, or do you have some negative memories? Whilst,
Oh, I don't think you can be in an institution for that long and it's all positive. Well, I'll give you a hand. I went through a rough time, and I think that's why I told myself that I can survive anything. It's not always an easy place to be at. It's a big institution with a lot
yeah,
of people trying to get to the top. So obviously there's a lot of fighting each other. There's a lot going on. So for me, I had the period when I went through the worst, like where you're not getting along with your supervisor, just somehow things are just not going the right way. You are told things that you don't want to hear when you're in a workplace, and sometimes you're about to go on TV and somebody just says the worst thing that they can say. So you they know you're going on TV and they say something that will make you cry, and you're supposed to go on TV and smile. So it wasn't all rosy. I went through some of the worst moments. I remember wanting to quit. I wanted to leave ZNBC earlier than I did. I remember telling my sister at home, I'm like, I think I'm gonna quit my job. I think I'm strong, and I felt like I could survive anything. But I'm dragging every morning. I'm waking up to go for work, and I'm thinking I'm going through that, to be in that toxic environment, because it gets so toxic whereby you don't even know if you're going to do the right thing, if you're going to say the right thing, because everything you do doesn't seem to be all right. So, and everything that goes wrong in the office, even if you didn't touch it, it's your fault. So you're just thinking, I think I should walk away, and whatever happens after this, it will sort itself out. But I managed to get through that, and also departments changed, so that helped. So yeah, so it wasn't all rosy, but also we had some great times. We had some successful times, had great shows, made great friendships. So it was the same. It was like positive, negative, but it's a very big institution, so it can stress you. It can really
yeah.
stress you.
Any positives that have stuck with you right to this day?
Okay, like some of the biggest knowledge, I think the firstly the staff. I left with some people, are still my friends. I still relate with them. We made some great memories working together. Sometimes you want to hang out with your friends and your workmates. You guys will just have fun. Then work wise, I think I was trained by some of the best people at ZNBC. Firstly, starting from the newsroom. When I was in the newsroom, I remember one thing that really touched me. The late Faith Kandala, she just naturally liked me. The first time I was doing a voiceover, doing a voice reporting, she just said, I'm going to train you myself because I want you to come out well." And
Fantastic.
she really helped me. She would even give me story ideas, like, "Helen, I've got this idea, I should present it." And she was a manager, so she wasn't in our diary sessions,
Yeah.
but she would give me those tips. And you have people like Joshua Jerry that would just sit you down and say, "This is how you write a news story," and they really helped me. I started writing stories. Like, then you go to like the first person that I ever met in the media was Innocent Kalaluka. He introduced me to ZNBC. He taught me like presenting wise. Obviously, I still learn from different people, but he
Sure.
taught me the first things that I got to know. Even gave
The
me, he's
basics.
even the one who told me to be saying, "You should be saying your girl Helen," because I'll just go like Helen. So like you learn from those people. The learning process was good. You work with people like Imutu Imanje, who she was my last boss before I left. She also brought in her strengths, script writing, even presenting like serious shows. I
Yeah.
remember giving me tips when I was presenting the breakfast show Morning Live, and those are some of the things that I look back to and I say, okay, I did get a lot of things from there, but some things I've probably forgotten. But it was a lot of. I had my happy times there,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously I got to meet people that I would not meet ordinarily,
Mm-hmm.
both in entertainment and in the and when you're doing like serious programs. Entertainment, I got to interview. I've gotten to interview an opportunity to interview a lot of international artists, so that's something that was great for me.
Excellent. Now, earlier on in the green room, we're talking about internet connections, and we were just saying, well, you're a presenter. If something goes wrong, you know what to do, how to step in. Has there
Yeah.
been a time when you're presenting a show and something awful happens and you've had to suppress your emotions, or you've just had to let rip, either cry or laugh out loud?
Yeah, like I said earlier, firstly to start with, before going on set, I cried, and I had to go there and look. Everything is okay, but
Like nothing has happened.
yeah, but then live TV is something else. A lot
Mm.
goes on live TV, and I'll tell you first about one bad experience that I had.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing, and this actually showed on air. We
Oh,
were doing, like this New Year's Eve, when we're covering, so they send you this side and that
crossing
side.
over. Yeah.
Yes, so this person is covering this side, and I think I was covering Ephraim at Lungushi Conference Center.
Mm-hmm.
Then I didn't know that the camera, the director has already crossed to me. And so I'm like, ah, I don't know what I was saying. And I just hear people screaming in my ears, "You're live on air, live on air." And I had to get back and say, "Oh, so welcome to Mulungushi Conference Center." But I was already embarrassed. But it's a lot of things go on.
Yeah.
Sometimes the director is doing something wrong, or maybe they're showing something that is wrong, and you are
Yeah.
there on set, and
Yeah.
they're just wrong. You just feel like screaming. You have to suppress it. And I remember we used to have those moments a lot at ZNBC, because you're doing live TV and
Mhm.
something goes wrong and they're just not handling it well. And you just feel like telling them, guys, or sometimes they just they've forgotten to press, like,
Mm.
oh, let's cross over to the next clip. And they're just not pressing. And then you are there. You're just, okay, so now you're always thinking about what to say. So those moments have always been there. Like, they've always been there. But if it's
That,
something that has to make me laugh, and I think most of the time I'll just end up smiling.
yeah.
But one moment I was presenting, I think, I don't know who died. So it was National Morning.
Mhm.
It was National Morning, and the the whole show was about mourning and stuff.
Mm.
The next thing, my best friend makes a call
Mhm.
to that show, and she didn't know that it's a morning, we're mourning.
Oh.
So she just wanted to just like, oh, Helen is on air, let me call her and embarrass
Yeah.
her. So
Oh
she just
no.
she just called, and the only thing she was doing was screaming and, hey, welcome, and she's trying to make me laugh, and I'm there trying to be serious, like,
Yeah.
oh, welcome to 3.7 Blaze, welcome to 3.7 Blaze. But yeah, but I controlled. Then I think I think that's when she was forced to look on TV, and she saw that we're scrolling some national money. And then she went like, oh, let me just pass on a message and say
Mhm.
ABCD. So yeah, like those are some of the moments that,
Yeah, I think a lot of professional journalists have had all sorts of crazy experiences like that. I remember listening to Oprah. Apparently, she was covering a news story, and she pronounced Canada, trying to imitate some white American journalist. And it was at that point she'd said, "Okay, I'm not going to be doing this. It's just not for me." Then she changed
yeah,
trajectory. So some of these things happen. Or like you're having a serious moment and then someone just says something really funny and you're trying to
yeah,
hold it. A couple
yeah.
of weeks ago, I posted something that was presented by Kwesa Burak. She's based here, but she's Zambian. I don't know if you've come across her. She works for BBC and Al Jazeera, I think. And
Okay.
she was covering a story in. It was about a news story in Uganda where they have names of places named after private parts.
Oh, I saw that story. I saw that story. Oh my god. That one I can't hold myself.
And I was thinking to myself, well done, girl, for actually keeping it straight. But I would have been in stitches. I don't know how. Yeah, it's just one of those moments. So it happens to
Yeah,
the best of us. Yeah, so
yeah,
funny. It's all very
yeah.
interesting. So, some people have been making these assertions that your experience at ZNBC has been kind of intertwined with Kachananas. For those viewers who do not know Kachanana, Helen, who's Kachanana?
Well, Katrina is she's a musician, she's a media personality, she's a trained journalist. She
Hmm.
worked for ZNBC for some years and then she resigned. Yeah, and now
So, why do
she's
you?
into fashion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why do you think people make that assertion that your life or professional experiences have been intertwined?
I don't. I think okay. When I interviewed Kachanana and she was just telling me about her life at ZNBC,
Hmm.
I related to most of the things she was saying. So maybe
Hmm.
that's why I related. I felt like some things she was saying was more like she's telling my story.
Can you give an example of one of those things?
Yeah, I think she mentioned about going in an environment that suppresses it. Even like we are creatives when you're there.
Hmm.
So, like I mentioned, to say the environment can be toxic sometimes. So when you're in that phase, and I think it's a phase,
Hmm.
I don't know. Okay, it's a phase for her that she felt she had to walk away from. But I think I mentioned earlier to say I wanted to quit because I think I was going through that phase as well, where you're thinking, and everything you try to do is being like you start a new show and they tell you, no, we don't have resources for you to do this show, and the resources are there, and then somebody's just
Hmm.
telling you, so you try now, you really have to fight your way through to have anything made. And
Hmm.
you're a creative, you need an environment that is also what can I say it an environment that supports your thinking, an environment
Creativity,
that
yeah.
is able to, yeah, because your brain is always thinking and you need to have ideas. But
Hmm.
then when you reach that point, you kind of have a blocked mind
Yeah.
because you now all you're thinking about is, how am I going to get through this day? It's just about how getting through the
Hmm.
day, because nobody, this person is not supporting you left, right, and center. They're not supporting what you are. They're not supporting your creativity. They're not
Hmm.
supporting anything you're doing. So
Hmm.
why am I here in the first place? And everything I do is wrong.
Hmm.
So I think it's at that point where I was really relating with her, and I understand what she went through because
Yeah.
I've been through it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So if there's a
maybe
young
I haven't just
person,
been like,
yeah, if there's a young person who's experiencing that, what would your advice be, seeing as you've actually gone through that yourself and you've been there, done that, worn the t-shirts, and now you're getting into that legendary position, what sort of
yeah.
advice would you give to a young person experiencing that? And not necessarily in media, it could be in a different kind of environment.
For me, it's really about get if you can get through it, you have to get through it. Actually, it's because it's about you. This is your future. So
Mhm.
if somebody is going to just want to destroy you because of for their whatever selfish reasons they have,
Mhm.
they want to be the only ones to be seen. They want to be the only ones to be seen, to be working.
Mhm.
You should know you should know what you want and what your goal is. I
Mhm.
think focus really helps, because if you're not focused and you pay attention to every negative that comes your way, you will not go anywhere. But
Mhm.
also sometimes it's difficult because if it's your immediate supervisor who is doing that, and for some people they don't have the guts to go to the top, and sometimes the top won't even believe you if you go and tell them what you're going through. I think it's
Mhm.
also important for the human resource to be able to be involved in their staff's business
Yeah.
sometimes, not too involved, but they need to know, especially if there's been more than one complaint. I think it's important for them to intervene and just make sure that they understand what they, especially the juniors, are going through. Are they
Mhm.
happy? What is going on? How can they come in? Some juniors can be the problem, but I think
Mhm.
as a human resource, you can know that it's not, if it's more than one person complaining about this thing, then we have to do something to make sure that the environment is friendly for everybody. So as a
Mhm.
young person going through that, stay strong, know what you want, and make sure that you prove the person that is trying to bring you down wrong. show them that you can actually do it no matter what they do. Because at the end of the day, if God said this is your direction, I don't think anybody else can stop it. So you just don't have to give up. All you have to do is get through it, and somehow, somewhere, God just makes a way and you'll make it. But also, human resource, I think that's their job. They need to know that their staff is okay. So instead of just paying attention to everybody that is already the manager, a supervisor, how about the
Mhm.
young people?
Yeah.
Find out. Sometimes a supervisor will just report you, and the only thing they will do is sit you down and scold you and tell you how many wrong things you've done, but they're not ready to hear your side of story, which is
Yeah.
not right. And they should make sure it feels safe for the young person to be able to express themselves
Mhm.
instead of feeling like you're digging your own hole again.
Yeah. Very,
Yeah.
very important points that you've raised there. Now, we've got a brand new government. They're calling themselves the New Dawn government. And now you
Yeah.
are in media and entertainment now, predominantly. Do you think the government so far is appearing like they are embracing developing the entertainment industry or funding it, so to speak?
If I have to be frank, so far from my observation, I haven't seen anything that is supporting the entertainment industry. I feel like entertainment in Zambia, it's like we still have to prove ourselves every day to say this is an industry that if you grow will actually develop, will actually create employments. Big
Mhm.
right now on our own, people are really on their own. Like people, we are just trying. You push, but if you can get more support from
Mhm.
the government, like the other industries. It's a big industry. So
Mhm.
just for example, if on my show, if you're like properly funded,
Mhm.
how many people can you employ? You
Yeah.
have a whole camera crew, you have a whole media house,
Mhm.
you employ producers that will help you produce, because
Yeah.
sometimes just producing yourself is hectic. You have
Yeah.
producers, you have makeup artists, you have stylists, you have designers working for you. You have all these people. That's employment.
Mm.
And you have the film industry. The film industry can employ a lot of people. Right now we have, yes, it's doing quite well with
Mm.
Zambezi Magic,
Yeah.
but what else apart from Zambezi Magic? There's a lot of creatives, and Zambezi Magic is just not enough to accommodate all of them, to
Yeah.
accommodate all of us.
Mhm.
So if you can get that support, and if maybe they just sit down and say, okay, what do you want? And then maybe people in the entertainment industry can support. And when we talk about entertainment, it shouldn't just be about music. There's the film, there's the media,
Mm.
there's us, like,
Yeah.
so it's a wide industry that
Mhm.
still needs to be recognized. That's my own opinion. So far, I haven't felt the impact. I'm just
Mhm.
like living. I'm like, oh, we're used, we survive
Yeah.
on our own. If you
Yeah.
get support, you get support. You don't get it, you don't get it. That's
Mm.
it. But I wish they could look at it differently, because I think
Mhm.
a lot of money can come from the entertainment industry.
Interesting points that you've raised there. Now, the president, the last time I met him, he actually spoke to the Zambians and said categorically, in no uncertain terms, that it's pointless you sitting around folding your arms and expecting the government to help. You have to tell the government, what do you want? So when you're saying you haven't seen any kind of help forthcoming, does the government know what kind of help you want? Have you made it a point as the entertainment industry? Have you made it a point for the government to know that we want specific things and this is how you can help us?
Okay, maybe no, I don't think I've I've made that point.
So how
But
can the
we
government know what you want, Helen?
we have like bodies that we expect to represent us, and maybe what we need to do, maybe because I mean these are all groups for different mother bodies.
Mhm.
So people are always expressing themselves. So our hope is, because I don't think I will go, this one will go, this one will go.
Mhm.
So our hope is that these bodies that are representing the entertainment industry, because we're all under the National Arts Council at the end of the day.
Mhm.
So we're hoping National Arts Council takes into consideration what people want, because these are things that people talk about all the time in the groups. These are and we hope if they deliver, because they're always like, oh, okay. So I remember when the government was changed, everyone was looking at, okay, let's see if we'll be included in the budget,
Were you included
and
in the budget?
no, not really. So everyone was saying like, there's really nothing, but we just hope, because talk never ends. They just came in government, so we're hoping eventually what we express ourselves when we talk maybe to national with the National Arts Council, and
Mhm.
we hope it's delivered and something will change. That's our only hope.
You have used two interesting phrases, and the phrases are not very proactive. You hope. You are thinking that the National Arts Council will maybe do this. Hoping never changed anything. You know that. You didn't get to where you are by hoping,
You
sitting
know,
there,
sometimes it's having
hoping that
confidence
things
in the
will
people
change.
representing you. It's about
Have you
having
told?
confidence in the people representing you.
Stop
So
hoping
if
and do.
okay, you know what? I'll take action and I'll
Yes.
tell you personally, I tell you to say, look, I
Yeah.
sent this to the
Yes.
National Arts Council chairperson
Yeah.
and I'm waiting for results or
That's
feedback. Or
more
and you
like
know,
it.
even feedback is very important, even
Mm,
negative. So I'll
yeah.
tell you, like, I'll get when I get feedback, I'll let
Yeah.
you know. So
I'll be.
I'll take it upon myself. Just hold me to that.
Yes, I
I'll
will.
personally write to National Arts Council.
Time frame. When can I check in with you that you've done that?
April month end.
Okay,
That's next
fantastic.
month.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Because at least I've got a time frame. And then you know you're doing something. You're not just saying, you're not just hoping and wishing. Wishes and hopes. If yeah,
Yeah.
they never move anything. So at least if we see that we're being proactive, we've done something, you write a proposal, take it to the relevant authorities, or give them to your representatives. Then they take that proposal to the relevant authorities. Now, if the government doesn't do anything, then you can say, "Hang on, you guys." You're
Yeah.
not looking after us. Because it is very important for the entertainment industry to be funded. Like you said, it will help government create employment to those youths who perhaps don't have the formal education, perhaps. Maybe they're good at cutting hair, they're good at
Yeah.
makeup, they're amazing makeup artists, or just running around, photocopying things and doing this and the other. So at least it
Yeah.
provides a lot of employment in that aspect. Now, I'm very interested in finding out about your experience on hosting or presenting the Ngoma Awards. You've presented the Ngoma Awards, haven't you?
I did the red carpet. Yes, I
Yes.
hosted the red carpet.
How was that? Because that's a big show. What was
Oh,
it?
that was huge. Especially that they were just coming back after years. For
Yeah.
me, that was an honor to just stand there. And when I was given that opportunity, I jumped on it.
You're
And it
like,
was
I'm
great.
doing this.
Yes. And, I think that was like the second job that I did after I left ZNBC.
Oh, wow. So that
So
was
I
outside
just
ZNBC.
Yes, because I just hosted a cocktail, and then they tell me this ngoma was. I'm like, oh, definitely coming for that. And yeah, that was really nice, really
Mhm.
really nice. That's something that I want to put on my CV, my profile
Mm.
all the time. Say like these are the
Yeah.
biggest awards that we have in the country, and they came back, and I was hosting the red carpet, so that was really huge. I had fun. I really had fun.
Good. And the red carpet event, it's a bit like what Ryan Seacrest does. So that's a biggie.
Yeah, yeah, I enjoy. I actually do enjoy watching hosting red carpets. I really love that. It's
Yeah.
it's it's a lot of fun and just seeing the fashion because you're
Yeah.
you're seeing fashion coming in firsthand,
Mm.
and people get a bit. I think they become very open on the red carpet, so
Mhm.
it's like they're also
They're
having fun
excited. They're
with
going
the
to have
influencers.
fun. So they kind of in a good
Yeah,
mood. Yeah. So
yeah. So it's a lot of fun.
fantastic. So now, do you find like a lot of designers or makeup artists want to dress you, want to do you up?
Especially makeup artists. You have a lot of
Because I've
makeup
seen
artists
you've
that
changed your look from when you started. You have
yeah.
evolved. What
Yes,
was behind that? Is it pressure from people to conform to a particular look, or you just thought fancied a change?
I just like I never used to cut my hair. Then
Hmm.
I just decided, and I didn't just decide to cut my hair. My hair stopped growing, so I was like, I think it should start afresh. Then I was like, this look actually makes sense. Let me keep it. So I thought I'll just keep it for a short while. Then it went on for like 5 years. People
Hmm.
liked it. Then I know there was a point a lot of people were just negative about my hair. They would say things, but that didn't force me to start uh, keeping hair. I just thought, okay, I think I get bored. I'm like, okay, I think I've done
Hmm.
this. Let me now
What would
do
they say
something.
about your hair, though?
There was just a point when there's a period when people were just there was a lot of like bullying on social media towards me. So some people would
Really?
be like, "Oh, that hair is making you look ugly. Oh, she's looking dirty. Oh, she's looking that, this and that." Yeah. So, but then I just decided, I think it's time for me now to try something different. Let me keep my hair. Plus, also, uh, you have I have these people now that do my hair. I'm a brand ambassador for a salon, so they wanted to be experimenting different styles of hair. So I was like, you know what? I think let me keep my hair so that we can be trying out a lot of different things when my hair grows, and so that was part of the decision.
That's
So yeah,
fantastic. Yeah.
so now we have like a lot of people that will come and say, "Let me dress you," but
Mhm.
sometimes these agreements don't just go the right way. So I'm very choosy with the people that I bring in my space. But
Mm.
now I have like when we're rebranding, now we're getting back.
Mhm.
I'm telling you this. It was supposed to be like a surprise,
I told
but
you,
yeah,
you have no choice but just to. I didn't even ask you. I'm happy. Go for it.
yeah. So like now I have like a stylist that
Mhm.
I'm working with. So we're trying to do a lot of improving my brand, my personal brand. So
Mhm.
yeah, you will see a bit of. I think starting next week we should be back.
Great.
So
So,
we
is
could
that
do a
part
lot
of
of work in the background.
improving your brand? What you use the word improving.
Yeah,
Is that part of the look as well? Changing your look.
I don't know if it's a little bit. Yeah, that's part of it as well.
Okay. What way are you going then in terms of look wise? You've done the short hair. You've done the kind of straight color, different weaves and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Mhm.
You know what? We're actually today we're looking at hairstyles, and it will be a lot of different hairstyles. So it was just about me choosing what I want to work with. Maybe starting next week, then
Yeah.
we'll be changing. We'll be changing
Mhm.
looks. We'll be changing looks depending on how this period, or if I'm doing a
Mhm.
certain something, maybe a certain photo shoot. I want to go
Yeah.
with this look and look. Yeah.
Fantastic. And what program are you starting? Are you carrying on with getting candid with Helen, or you're
Oh,
starting a whole new
yeah.
program?
No. I'm carrying on with getting candid. Our hope was to obviously make it bigger and whatnot. Things are not didn't really go as planned, but we're coming back and we're hoping we can change one or two things. And yeah, we're getting back to getting candid. So getting candid, then I do another show for a certain company, Beta Games on ZNBC.
Hmm.
So
Um,
just yeah, I was on leave, so getting back to that.
Great. What should people look out for on getting candid with Helen this time round?
Great guests, great
Excellent.
guests, deeper questions. But I'm
Mhm.
really excited about the guests that we have lined up that my team and I have been putting together.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just hoping they all show up for the shoots, and
Are you
it will
going to
be
share who they are or give us a hint?
no,
Come on,
no.
girl.
I need you to be surprised. I need you to be
Give us a hint.
surprised.
What do they do? What do they do?
No, actually, we're getting from all corners. There's from all
Ah,
corners.
Helen, come on. Do they
Yeah,
sing or are they in the film industry? Are they male or
that's
female?
what I'm saying. There's musicians, there's film, there is politics, maybe. Yeah, so we're just trying to all show up, and we're really trying to be very diversity with our guests.
That is great. Are you going to be doing like in a as a panel or individually like you used to, one on one?
Panel, unless it's calls for a reason for it to be a panel. So it will be 1-1 if I really want to get in deep with somebody. But I remember last season we had an episode where we're talking about the entertainment industry and branding and stuff. So that one I had to get more than one guest. So if we'll be having topics as well. So if there's a topic that we feel like should be discussed and we
Yeah.
need a panel, like I can have Knack and talk about the government supporting the
Yeah.
entertainment industry. Now I've
I
given you a hint.
know. I
So
know.
you can
Now,
so
before Helen,
sad.
before, would you be able to say that? Before the
To
New Dawn
say
government to sort of say something not positive about what the government is doing. Now we've got the freedom of expression. You can say something without
no,
fearing that you will be castigated.
yeah, I think so. The thing is, I'll just be very frank with you about something. I don't know. The thing is, when you work for an institution like
Mhm.
ZNBC, you actually do know how to edit yourself very well.
Yeah. Yeah. And that the
And
worry
it's
is
automatic
you start editing
because
yourself
when
too much that you forget how to voice out. You forget the sound of your own
yeah,
voice.
and at first I would be, even on social media, I was very open, I would tweet and talk about, I would have fun. Then eventually you realize, oh, you're in this position, you can't say that. You're in this
Yeah.
position, you can't. Eventually you just become so quiet that you, even when I'm not with ZNBC now, I'm free. I sometimes you find yourself editing
Yeah. Yeah.
yourself just
So
because you're used.
you are like a bird uh, whose feathers have been clipped.
The bird who's done what?
Whose feathers have been clipped. You can't actually fly.
Yeah. So when you
Yeah.
get out, then you're like, oh, I can actually say it without getting
Yeah.
in trouble.
Isn't
Yeah, but
it refreshing? If the
it
government doesn't
is.
do anything else, but at least we're so grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That
Fantastic.
that's
If you're joining, do kindly mute yourselves just for the time being. Lovely. Thank you very much. So what is ahead of the show apart from the amazing guests that you have lined up? Anything else that people can look forward to?
oh, we are adding some segments.
Hmm.
We were bringing some segments that we're debating. Firstly, we're still debating on which ones that we're supposed to start with.
Hmm.
So that's something that viewers should be. We have some pretty good suggestions. The team has been suggesting some interesting segments that we think we can
Hmm.
work with and just make the show more interesting and obviously more relating. And we're hoping we're supposed to conclude this week and just know which segments we're going with. And yeah, because April full-time shooting is on, so we need to finish up everything
Hmm.
soon. Yeah.
Excellent. And how many people do you have in your team?
Okay, so I have obviously the team that films, there's a director, the editor, and
Hmm.
the camera guys. That's we have the director is the editor, also
Hmm.
part of the camera crew. Then we have
Isn't one of the senior crew members your husband?
he's the director and the editor, and also part of the camera crew.
So you're
Yeah,
sitting there, he's doing everything, which is great. He makes you look good.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. Then we have three other camera people. Then we
Mhm.
have now we are adding, because I used to produce a show myself. So now I'm having a co-producer who will be helping us produce, because these are the people that have always just been in the background, like giving
Yeah,
ideas. So now we just want them to have to come on board like full time. Yeah.
that
So
is
plus the
great.
makeup artist. I've been struggling to find a new makeup artist for my show,
Uh-huh.
because I worked with one makeup artist for a year. She was
Yeah,
really good. She
yeah.
became like just part of us, and all.
Mhm.
Then she got married and she had to shift to Chipata. So
Oh,
I've been trying out different makeup artists,
yeah.
and so we're yet to settle on that one as well.
Well, after this program, I'm sure you'll be inundated with a whole lot of inquiries. There's so many talented makeup artists. So you guys are quite lucky when you come on the show. You've got someone dressing you, someone doing your hair, someone doing your makeup. Us, on the other hand, especially if you're terrible at doing any of those things like I am, you just have to do with whatever is there, with whatever God has given you.
No, but it's not easy here. It's not easy. I did a lot of years doing my own makeup.
Yeah,
Then eventually just like, let me just pay for this service. And I'm not
yeah.
also a very good makeup artist. I'm not very good at doing my own makeup. I've been
Mhm.
trying to learn though. I'm like, sometimes you
No,
have to be
sometimes there are only so many hours in the day, and is it a priority for me? Maybe not. Maybe it should be, but yeah, I can do other things better than doing makeup. So we just
yeah.
interesting, absolutely interesting. You were talking about your husband. I wanted to touch slightly on the lovey-dovey stuff. So you're married. How
Okay.
did you meet your husband? And also, a little birdie tells me that you've got an interesting breakup story, like something that happened to you in the past. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah.
Would you be kind enough to share with our viewers?
So which one should I start with? The breakup story?
The heartbreak. Because obviously then we can talk about the happy ever after.
Okay, so the heartbreak that I mentioned on TV is about the guy that got married while we're dating.
That is just so wrong. How did that come about?
Yeah, yeah, like
Didn't you
we were
know?
dating. No, I think I don't know. Maybe I didn't know because I was the side piece.
You didn't know that you were the side piece. And then
No,
suddenly, how did you find
so
out that he's getting married?
this is the funny thing. Okay, this is the funny thing. I wasn't willing to be in a relationship, and this person tells me, no, me, I want to be serious. I want us to be in a relationship. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's be in a relationship. Just when I was like getting inclined and say, okay, I think this
I'm
can
feeling
work as a
this now.
relationship. Yeah. Then there was an issue that I had with him. I was supposed to meet. So I went to his house and then he didn't open. But I could hear that the friend was inside the house because he was staying with his friend. So when I got home, I was so pissed. Like, I came to your house, you told me to come, and then this happened. And so he was like, no, don't worry. I'm so sorry. And then moreover, my friend has moved out. I was like, your friend has moved out? Because the friend just came in the country. He was trying to settle down, and he was like, no. He's saying that he will be too comfortable. The longer he stays with me, he won't be buying things for his own house. So he decided to move out so that he can start, growing. And the explanation made sense to me. Like, okay, you want to move out, and that was it. So my friend, who was their friend, comes to tell me and say, Helen, do you know that your guy is getting married? Like, what are you talking about?
Oh my goodness.
No, because I was chatting with his friend. Now the friend is the housemate, and the housemate was closer to my friend. And he was telling me that he's moved out of the house. So I was asking him, why have you moved out? And then he says, oh, because my housemate is getting married. So she says, but Helen is not getting married.
No.
So the friend knew he blew the cover, and that's how the conversation ended. So, and for me, I was young, so marriage was like far, something that you don't even think about. So my friend, we're at that stage where we're not thinking marriage. So why is this? So she tells me he's getting married. I'm like, what?
What did you do? How did you approach?
And first he was, yes, and the problem was that weekend I was actually because my hometown is in Kafue. I went to Kafue to visit my parents. So I leave this guy in Lusaka and I'm getting the news while I'm in Kafue. I felt like coming back immediately. So I called him.
Yeah.
And that day his phone was off, unfortunately. Then later on he calls me in the evening, happy, hey. I'm like, you're getting married. And he says, what are you talking about? Are we getting married? You and I have never talked about marriage. Like trying to make it. I'm like, no.
That's so right.
Are you getting married? Yeah. Then he says, can we talk about this another time? Like, what? You're getting married?
Another time? When do you suggest will be another time? If I were you, I would have just played along and not said that, are you getting married? And then see how far he would have taken this lie. This kind of reminds me of Washmumbi kind of antiques.
I'm telling you, that's Washmumbi style. That is definitely Washmumbi. But and that's a question I asked. So what was going to happen? Like, were you going to stop me from visiting your house? What was going to happen?
What would have happened
if I didn't know?
Oh my goodness!
I don't know.
Interesting.
Unfortunately, because I had to break it off immediately. Like,
obviously. But some women do.
It made me feel so bad.
I bet, you poor thing. But then again, if that had not happened, you would have not met your lovely husband, who's now your producer, your camera person, and everything else. We have been joined by quite a lot of people, and I'm very conscious of time. You've got a tiny little human being waiting for mommy. We've been joined by Mr. Butcher, Mr. Patrick Chilofia. Do you have anything to say to Helen? Any questions, Mr. Butcher? Are you there? Looks like Mr. Butcher is not there. Could we have Beani?
Yes, good evening, madam. Good evening, madam. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, madam. Yes, madam. How are you? Yeah, I am so touched.
Good, how are you?
That yes, I'm so touched over the story which you are trying to raise. That's why I tried to hide my face. I never wanted to see me dialect because I wanted you to explain more about how you went through in your breakup. And the good part of it, you were not interested that time. You were not interested to get married. That's the good part of it. Otherwise, if
Yeah.
you were somewhere on that level, you could have, by this time, you could have died. Because we know how depressed how it is.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
It's not,
laughing. We're
it's not,
laughing now.
yes, I'm so happy that now you are still there. Otherwise,
Yeah.
God has his own way to do things. So, he fished you away from that illicit. Where you are, I think you are doing fine. So it's very important. Sometimes we need, whatever we do in life, we need to put God first. It's very important. Because I'm just assuming if that person get married, then from there you went to his home. I don't know that disaster if you will be able to overcome it. It was not easy
Yeah.
thing, but however, I need to appreciate you because there are a lot of women who went through like the way we are trying to explain. So I think you have got a story to tell to those young ones who are coming behind you. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Helen, do you want to make a comment on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what he said, everything happens for a reason, like it happened for a reason. And I'm good today. I'm laughing about it because
Yeah.
now I
Oh my
actually find it
gosh.
funny. Like, oh my God, I went through that. Yeah. So,
Mm,
yeah.
great. Mr. Chilofia, good evening. Is Mr. Chilofia there? Maybe not. Lovely. Well, Helen, thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. And we'll be in Zambia soon. Hopefully, we can link up face to face, which will be
That would be
amazing.
nice.
Yeah. And we can hear more about those stories, those incredible things that you are doing. Before we leave, I just wondered if you had anything that you would say to young people who are trying to get into media
Oh,
or
I
young
didn't
people.
ask one question. I didn't answer
Ah,
one. You asked me how I met my husband. Oh,
exactly.
we've run. Maybe we don't have time. I can just.
No, it's fine. No, I can squeeze in. I love stories. Go for it.
I'll I'll just summarize it. It
Yeah.
was I came for holiday because I'm from Kafue. I came for holidays in Lusaka,
Mhm.
and my brother-in-law, married to my sister, he said, "You're bored holidays. Why don't you come with me? Can you act?" I'm like, "Yes." So I went to Maturo Boys. They had this
Mhm.
organization for young people. So, and I was in grade 10. My husband had just completed high school. So he was part
Mhm.
of that organization. So that's the first time we met. And he
Ah.
was so afraid to talk to me, but it was just,
Look at
hi.
your face as you're talking. Your face is just lighting up, the big smile. You-
Yeah, it's so funny to look back and see how he was so scared to talk to me.
Aw.
Yeah, but eventually I went back and then we reunited somewhere in 2009
Mhm.
when I came now to permanently stay in Lusaka.
And
And
as
yeah,
they say, the rest is history.
yeah, but that reuniting didn't mean we started dating. It took years for us to actually start dating.
Really?
Yeah.
What kept you apart so long?
I kept he was just like, I want you, I want you, I want you. But I'm just like, no, I can't date you. Just my friend. I actually like these stories like about the breakup. I would even tell
Mhm.
him like, he would come and say, me, I want you. Then I'm like,
Agnabankana.
no, I'm just having this heartbreak. Listen, listen, and just laugh about it. And then he kept
Oh,
telling me, I delay my wedding. You're the one who's delaying my wedding. The moment you
wow.
agree, I was looking at rings when I was in SA and I want us to get married. And then I'm like,
Wow.
you're coming to film my wedding. I was like, no, I'm not coming to film your wedding because I'll be your husband.
Oh, that is so sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, eventually I was like, you know what? Let me try this guy and see. And it was just smooth.
Now he's the father of your children.
Yes, two children.
Oh, that is so beautiful. What a beautiful story. On that note, I would like to say a very big thank you to our amazing guest, Helen Zulu, who is a TV presenter, journalist, and a businesswoman. Thank you so much to Mr. Biani, for your contribution. And I think we have just been joined by Andrew Butcher. I will give you a couple of minutes to make your contribution quickly, please, before we close. Good evening. He has just vanished. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for having tuned in to TV Bakwetu on this special segment called the Lindebanks Show. And we will see you soon. Good night. God bless you and God bless our country. Good night.